Hey, yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Clash Masters here, and I'm here to talk about X-Men 97. Seen it, and just like the final season was crazy. I had to get my mind right for this one. Um, I've been on my gaming side of things, just streaming and stuff like that. So I was like, I got to talk about this, bro. I got to talk about it. So yeah, this is where I'm at. Like I saw it obviously Wednesday. Had to do this at the time of the recording. Um, Crazy. All I can say is crazy. Um, I'm here to talk about the whole season though, not just the season finale, but I think the season finale wrapped it up so nice and left us with a nice cliffhanger. That is just something that um is worth talking about. They really did it. So I'm just gonna talk about the season as a whole. So there's gonna be spoilers. There's gonna be all types of things, bro. So if you guys don't want to hear it, you know what I'm saying, pause, watch the season, finish it, then come back. But this is what I'm here to talk about. X-Men, the whole season. So if you guys aren't subscribed to the KG Films channel, go ahead and subscribe. Also hit the like button on the way in. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my other channel, Blue Saber Gaming. Also, my boy's Nightwing, who's doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff at the time of this recording. I know he's been grinding hard on the Neo. And of course, my boy Hellboy is definitely getting back in the swing of things of Elden Ring, getting ready for the new DLC. And he's been doing a couple things online, not online, live, sorry. I think Stumble Guys, I think it's one of them, and of course the Brawlhalla stuff. He's on the road to almost 100 episodes on that. So go ahead and support him. You know, to see his content and just his journey that he's doing with on the Brawlhalla scene of things. But on the film side of things, this is what we kind of covering. Great X-Men animation, I should say animation. Yeah. So, but no further ado, let's just jump right into it. So the season as a whole is dope. We got our classic 90s X-Men, like most of you. I grew up watching on Fox Kids. And I'll say like season 5 was cool, it was dope. To me, as a child, it was like it ended the way it ended. Do we need a continuation? No, not really. But to have it, I'm thankful for it because they don't really tarnish too much. Everyone gets their own time, spotlight, and they're really drawing a lot of stuff from the comic material while still making it fit in that X-Men 90s canon that they had, already established, which is perfect, which was beautiful. So to have that um was just like it's all gas no brakes. It's all gas no brakes. Like you can't do nothing wrong. Seeing some of the team combos and seeing the dynamic of a lot of things. Obviously the returning voice actors, some obviously more mature compared to the 90s, obviously, which is good. Really, really showcases like even Jubilee's character, Jubilee coming from, no longer the new kid on the block to now like her own X-Men, like she believes in it. Cyclops still being obviously the leader and Storm second in command. Like nothing's changed, but you could tell like they've changed. You know what I'm saying? In a way. So it's cool. Um, the season I feel like was really good. I think it was like the start of the season was to be like, hey, these are all classic X-Men doing classic things. They got Magneto because they like with season 5 and with season 1 for 97, you could tell they really didn't keep it like season 5 never happened. You know what I mean? If so to speak, like the events of season 5 didn't really take place. A lot of people I know didn't really feel season 5, and season 5 mixed reviews, whatever. Me personally, straight up, season 5 was cool. Like to me, it wrapped it up. It was just like whatever. And then even watching it before 97 was like, okay, I'm wondering how they're gonna continue it from here. And they kind of just was like, well, we're not gonna continue it from 5. We'll have some of those elements there, but this is how we're gonna flip it. And it worked. It worked perfectly great. Uh, so yeah, we got to see a lot of people, I would say, shine. There wasn't a whole lot stuff being too like over the top in my opinion. But the season overall was great. Was great. 10 episodes, and I feel like out of 10 episodes, they told the story pretty good. They told the story pretty good. Um, of course, we got the Magneto thing and him transitioning to having his own X-Men because he does. So I thought that was kind of cool. But what made it more okay, Marvel's got it now was the like Captain America, the Hulk cameos. There was a few Marvel cameos, Spider-Man and stuff like that. There was a lot of cameos, just outside X-Men to kind of explore. And after finishing the last season out and seeing that they're kind of like establishing this, if you want to call it like Earth 90 from the 90 universe of the Marvel, studio, cinematic, whatever you guys want to call it, like that universe, which is cool because that's just all Marvel characters that we knew growing up watching, maybe in the 80s to the 90s. Spider-Man, X-Men, Iron Man, Hulk, Fantastic Four. I don't know if Captain America had an animated series. I'm not too sure, but like those golden ages of shows, they're incorporating and they're having it established in this universe. So to see X-Men go through X-Men things and to kind of see how it plays out just outside that, because okay, in the OG version, we never got that. We just had X-Men and human problems. And and to me in the OG, they didn't really have that distinctive like Captain America's gonna come over and do this or Iron Man's gonna, they didn't really have that kind of interaction. I mean, they had like when Apocalypse was doing a whole lot of stuff in one of the episodes, like you would see certain Avengers, helping people, which was, I guess, their way of tying it like in the connected universe for them. But it wasn't like you would see Spider-Man talk, interact, and politic and do this and have this influence. Likewise with Captain America, you didn't really have that. So to have it in here was pretty interesting because now it's giving you us a sense of direction of this is where it could go and this is where it could lead. So I really digged it, man. Like I said, there's gonna be spoilers on this because whoa man, I'm like, I gotta get my mind right. I seen this greatness. Let me chill, let me game, and gather my thoughts and give you guys my honest opinion. So honestly, the loss of Gambit was definitely crazy. Like, we know it's coming back. We know it's coming back. He's going to be one of the Four Horsemen and stuff like that. But I believe like Gambit went out honorably, and he really went out the way he did. And the whole Rogue and Magneto love triangle with Gambit was just weird and was very odd. I felt like this is a different X-Men. Same characters, same core, same value, same foundation. Just like now they're entering a different level, so to speak, And they're not like, I'll say they're doing things that won't damage the OG series, which I'm thankful for, and I'm like, okay, that's what's up. That's cool. But the whole Rogue, Gambit, and Magneto love triangle was definitely an interesting look on some of these characters, but it worked. And then the Cable relationship with Scott and Jean or Madeline Pryor, also I felt in those gaps from the OG series because if you guys don't know, and now like, yeah, Cable is the son of pretty much Jean Grey and Scott Summers. And to get to 97 and to see it and to now see, okay, this is why Cable is the way he is and stuff like that, it makes perfect sense and it fits and it's now understanding. So now there's like that if you go back, like I said, watch the OG version and then you watch this, you could see, okay, so the reason why. And that's what's making it work. And this is going to be now Cable's new character in this new direction because now he's exploring. And I thought it was phenomenal. And I really like how they use Cable to just do more than just shoot a gun. You know what I mean? He used a lot of his mutant powers and stuff like that. So I thought that was dope. Also, obviously, Bishop teaming up with Cyclops and Xmen and running with the Xmen was also cool because I like Bishop. But Bishop taking Cable to the past was interesting because, you know, these dudes, and like I said, it's going to go to a lot of this is going to go back from the OG to this season because that's how I'm going to be comparing it. But a lot of these dudes, they didn't have animosity, they didn't have beef, but they were more so of this is Cable's timeline and this is what he's trying to protect, and this is Bishop's. And, you know, Cable's way ahead of Bishop timeline wise. So Bishop's doing it the best of his abilities, you know, and keeping his time intact, and Cable's kind of like, well, I'll keep your time intact and my time intact. This is how we'll do it. And to see that dynamic there in the OG to season one, it not being prevalent because now we're pretty much being taken into Cable's origins. Makes perfect sense because now Bishop has obviously some type of role, some type of connection, interconnection. You know, Bishop stayed there in the past. He's seen Cable being born. He knows Cable's parents, you know, so this is things now that the Bishop, and this is how I see it too. I might have to talk about this in season 2 because the Bishop that we know is the Bishop from the OG version who just stayed, but he stayed. My thing is, when did he come back and when did he stay? Because he wasn't, I don't believe he wasn't in season 5. So at some point, they're going to have to say either this is what happened and he eventually stayed, kind of retconning a little bit of season 5, or be like after Professor Xavier left, he came weeks or whatever like that after, whatever the case might have been. But that needs to still be explained and explored. But he's been there. And then he happens to stay in the past, sees Cable being born, takes Cable into the future. So that's where a whole lot of stuff kicks off. And this is where in 97 we get to see Cable, but we don't see Bishop as much, you know? So in season 2, I want to know how that relationship and dynamic is going to be for both of them. You know? Bishop who stayed, Cable who was born in this particular timeline. You know, you get what I mean? So I think season 1 was definitely great. It was definitely great. There was a whole lot of things to be explored. Wolverine, you know, and the gene triangle. It's nothing new. You know, it's nothing new. It was like, okay, yeah, Fox Kids, you know, they did it, and this is what it is. 97, it really just showed how much Wolverine really cared for Jean and loves Jean still to this day, and it was like it was nothing new. Seeing the adamantium taken out of his body, however, and just hearing the whole what people are calling it fertile or feral Wolverine, and Jean becomes his Wolverine whisperer. That may happen. That could happen. I don't know, but I do know. I don't know what's gonna happen with Wolverine because now he doesn't have the adamantium. Some people are saying it's going to be for the best. He's going to be unstoppable. Some people say he's going to morph into all these things. We don't know what's going to be the current state of Wolverine, you know. And then they, you know, Wolverine didn't know he had claws in the show, you know, until they got the adamantium, you know. So we don't know if he's going to get bone claws or no claws. He might be declawed. We don't know. We don't know because in the show, he didn't know he had claws, and Wolverine's been around for a long time. So I'm curious to see what kind of Wolverine in season 2 we're going to get, you know. So that there's that, and of course Storm coming back into the fold. There's a lot that I know I can talk about, you know, and go on and on and on about, you know, but I'm just here to kind of keep season 1 self-contained because there was just so much, man. We got to see Apocalypse before he becomes Apocalypse. We know they're like at the end they, you know, they get time slided or whatever you guys want to call it. They go back, they get separated in time. And I thought it was cool at the end to see Apocalypse on one side in Egypt, and then fast forward, we see a young Cable. So we know Apocalypse is coming. That was already given. That was already talked about the moment we lost Gambit, Four Horsemen. Shout out to Ric Flair. I'm crazy. But we know that was coming. So now I think season 2 is going to lean more towards, obviously Apocalypse. But just in season 1, how they built it up was very interesting. We got the Bastion little arc, and I think they could kind of bring back Bastion if they wanted to, in various ways. But I know one thing would be interesting, tampering with this whole multiverse concept, would be to see how Bastion would have been if he was the original X-Men. That's something that it's probably happened and could be explored as well. But, for the sake of the show, just keeping the show intact, I think Bastion was a good, season boss, so to speak. So he did his thing. And now we're getting pretty much a new era of Apocalypse, I would call it that. And I have a feeling that the X-Men will be teaming up with, I think some Makdu or something like that. Apocalypse is Egyptian name, which is going to be cool. This is gonna, season 1 led into some good things into 2 and 3. A lot of cliffhangers, and it didn't feel like, oh, we didn't get too much. We got the enough amount to give content like this. So 97, I'm glad, I sat down, I watched it. If there's some things that I kind of went over, I'm sorry. It was kind of rambling and inventing, so there might have been things I might have missed. I'll definitely be doing a follow-up on X-Men for sure, because I definitely want to give you guys my season 2 predictions and what I think this could mean for season 2 and what I thought about it, and more a season 1 in depth, type of thing. So stay tuned for that. But season 1 definitely kicked off a good X-Men revival. It really did. Season 1, because now there's so much things we could pick from. We could try to find out and see what this fate of the X-Men universe will be now. There's from Spider-Man, Daredevil, Cloak and Dagger, which I was thinking, did they ever show Cloak and Dagger back in the 90s? I'm not too sure. But if they didn't, this is a good way to kind of bring Cloak and Dagger into that universe. People get used to them. They had a live action on Freeform, and I think that flopped. So to kind of revamp it and put it on X-Men is pretty much just a little testing the water, so to speak. So I'm really curious to see how that's going to be. But just the overall X-Men universe and that was trying to be established in season 1, I think they nailed it out the park. Season 2 is going to be dope. I have a feeling season 2 is going to be dope. Season 3 is going to be fire. But season 1 overall, I think I feel like no one should talk bad about it. I would give it a 9 out of 10, a 10 out of 10. They gave us a lot. The writing was good. To me, there was not an episode that I thought was trash. So I just feel like this, I have a feeling we're gonna see more X-Men team, not the ones that we've always stuck with in the 90s, but we're gonna get more mutants to be explored, to be part of the team, more X-fractions or stables, groups, cliques, whatever you want to call it within X-Men, X-Force, X-Factor, stuff like that, coming into the fold, back into the fold as well. New team, old team, and they're going to do a whole lot of mixed matching, which is going to be interesting to tell these great stories, to have these characters interact, and to obviously see these characters develop as each season progresses. I think this season, like I said, we've seen a lot of different things. We've seen a lot of just people getting good write-offs, a lot of great character development for a lot of people and what's to come, and potentially people doing this or doing that. Season 1 really hit the ground running, and I think it deserves its rose. It deserves a flower straight up. Season 1's gonna have me talking about this for a long time. I had to get my rhyme right. I had the game, and I was still thinking about it. And I'm like, you know what, man? Let me just go ahead I think at the time I was playing Outer Worlds on Blue Saber Gaming, and just was like, let me just go ahead and knock this one out the park, man. You know, so season 1, if you guys haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out on Disney Plus. You know, Xmen 97, man, they back on the Kraken. That's for sure. That's for sure. But post your thoughts in the comments down below. What you guys think of Xmen 97, the first season as a whole? Are you guys excited for season 2 and 3? Let me know. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Be safe out there. Peace.